Jake West, Director of Team FY and Sports, joined by Robbie Bailey, the head coach of the White County Warriors men's basketball program. Coach Bailey, just wanted to sit down with you for a second and talk about this year as a whole and what you see coming forward. But let's get some background on you as a coach. How long have you been at White County, and what's your basketball background? I mean, I'm sure you started dribbling a ball when you were 5 years old, and it's led up to this point being the head coach at White County.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on today to talk about our team. Um, my journey's a long one. I've been coaching about 25 years. Two of those, I wasn't actually a teacher yet. I was a lay coach, but been several different places. I've been an assistant forever. 23 years, I guess. I've been at White County for 3 years. My first year I was an assistant, and then I got the job during the COVID year. I think I got it in April of 20. And so this is only my second year being a head coach, but been around a lot of places, been an assistant under some good coaches. Kind of just, what I tell. I've got a young coach on my staff right now, and he's anxious to be a head coach like we always are. But, I told him, I said, I'm one of the rare, I guess I'm one of the last rare ones around. I was an assistant forever and just kind of waited my turn. I also was a football coach. So I've actually done both. This was my last year doing football. So I'm kind of transitioning out of that just because, this being a head coach is, it's a lot of time, a lot of responsibility. And when you're doing two sports back to back, and I'm old, it just takes a toll on you. But that's kind of my background. Like I said, I've been an assistant for a long time, just kind of waiting my turn, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I've had a ball in my hand forever. Wasn't very good, just wanted a guy that loved basketball and played really hard. Didn't go to college on no scholarship. Just, enjoy the game and, just happy to be a part of White County. It's a great place. Got great kids and just happy for the opportunity I've been given.
That's crazy. That long as an assistant coach,
Yep.
you're right. I mean, you never hear of. I mean, everybody pays their dues, but I mean, that's a that's a long time to
Well,
be an assistant.
I didn't want to really get into it, but I interviewed for a lot of head jobs. I actually interviewed for more head football jobs than I did basketball, to be honest with you. And you get I don't have any bitter feelings, but you get told the same thing. You just don't have head coach experience. And my thing was, well, how do you get head coaching experience if you can't be a head coach? So, but it all worked out, God's timing. And I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest with you. I've enjoyed my time and I've learned a lot. I'm no expert or no guru, but around people that long, you learn some things that you don't learn if you've only been an assistant for a couple of years, and then the next thing you know, you're the head coach. So I by no means have all the answers, but I do have a lot of experience, so that helps me.
Yeah. Before we move along, I just wanted to since you were an assistant for so long and now you're there. Tell us who your assistants are and who you've got on your staff.
My varsity assistant is Chris Black. Chris has been at White County. I don't know exactly how many years, probably 6 or 7. It might be longer than that. Great guy, loves White County, graduated from White County, loves our kids, does a great job. My JV head coach is Stephen Stewart. He's been here 3 years total. He was a middle school coach. And then when I got the job, I kind of brought him on with me. Good young coach, going to be a good coach. And Chris is too. Both good young coaches. They're going to be great head coaches. And then I've got another coach who kind of heads up our 9th grade. He's in college. He played for me last year at White County, Cooper Turner, and he is going to be an outstanding coach. Going to be an outstanding head coach too. I'm blessed to have 3 guys who are just passionate about the game, passionate about our kids, and they're not afraid to tell me that I'm doing something stupid. So, and that's good because
Yeah.
I, going along with when we talk about being an assistant, I learned a long time ago. I worked for some guys who were really good at input, and then I worked some for guys who were just didn't want any input. And I told myself when I became a head coach that I was going to lean on my assistants because the best thing I could do for them is to help them make decisions. So when they get to the spot I'm in, they don't have to think, well, dang, Coach Bailey didn't give me that opportunity. So I give my assistants a lot of responsibility, and they're involved in everything. And it's a team effort. That's what I tell them. I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and some of those guys are smarter than I am. And so I lean on those guys a lot, and they're three great guys, good coaches, even better men. So I'm very fortunate to have them with me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I like I like what you said about just not only are they good coaches, but they care about the kids because I think sometimes in the hustle and bustle of today's always, I mean, coaches always want to work up and maybe not all coaches, but like especially younger guys, they want to move on to the next thing, the
Yeah,
next best thing. So it's good to hear that people want to come back and pour back into something that helped them get to where they are,
right.
and really care about the kids. But um, let's talk about last year's team. That was your first year
Yes, sir.
as the head coach. You guys won the region. We're 11-1. I think it was third or fourth round you went to in the playoffs. What can you tell just as a coach where you've grown and the team how different is it this year than it was last year?
Well, I'm not nitpicking. We didn't actually win the region last year. We won the regular season. We actually finished second coming out of the tournament
Okay.
in Boston County. We made the Sweet 16 and had to go to Sandy Creek and play a young man by the name of Jabari Smith, who's probably going to be the number one pick in the NBA draft this year, who's playing at Auburn. Um, but as far as last year's team, the advantage I had was I was an assistant the year before, so I already knew the kids. And one thing I've learned over this amount of time of coaching nowadays, it's all about relationships with these kids. When I started 25 years ago, relationships were part of it, but it was kind of, hey, go do this, and they did it, and especially when I was growing up, I mean, I never questioned the coach. They told us to go do something, we did it. Nowadays, kids want to know why, and it's because they're smarter than us. I mean, let's be honest. They got to know the why, and I think that's what helped me out last year was I already knew the kids. I had a good relationship with them, and that's my thing. I love them as individuals. They're my players, but at the end of the day, that kid's going to grow up and be a man one day. And I feel like our job as coaches is to raise up young men that are quality citizens in today's world. And that's our passion. That's my staff's passion. Yeah, we want to win basketball games, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure we're raising up good men, good fathers, good husbands. And I think, that was the advantage I had last year was I knew the kids. Now, also, I was their third. That group of seniors. I was their third head coach. Um, Experienced group, but you never know. I mean, but they bought in real quick, and we had a good run last year. First, let's see, we overall finished second in the region coming out of the tournament. Had I think won our first home playoff game in school history. Got to actually host a playoff game. I think that was the first two. Um, and it's funny from one year to the next, we had some key pieces coming back from last year's team. But last year, I think, comparatively, we were probably a little bit better defensively. We only give up about 47 points a game last year. This year, we're giving up about 50, 54, something like that. But we're scoring more this year. So We're probably more of an offensive team this year. We stress defense, so that's what we kind of try to build this thing on. Because I tell them, I said, yeah, we got to score, but we're gonna have to stop people
Yeah.
at some point in the game. So probably the comparison between the teams, a little bit better defensively last year, but this year definitely a lot more offensive firepower than we had last year. So that's probably the comparisons between the two. Now we're getting better defensively. I mean, we've played some, we've had some pretty good defensive efforts, especially the last couple of weeks. But we like to try to keep it below 50. We're not there yet, but we're working on it. So, but really and truly, I mean, not a whole big difference between the two teams because we did have some pieces coming back from last year. So,
well, obviously the goal each year is to win the region, but after being I guess you won the regular season, and then you lose in the tournament, coming second. That's got to be the main goal this year.
that's right.
Well, not your only goal, but that's the first one that's got to be on the board is to win that region tournament.
Right. Well, I'm gonna tell you, and this group of seniors. I've got 3 seniors. I've got Silas Mulligan, Kenny Simpson, and Tobby Simmons. They all start for me, and I'm just gonna. I've got my eyes somewhere else, but I'm gonna pull up something from last year. One of our seniors sent me the night on the way home after we played Sandy Creek. Of course, he was a junior last year, but and now this is a text from February. Let me see the date, like February, I don't know, 26, something like that. But his basic message to me was, Coach, we're going to win the region next year. So that's all these 3 kids have talked about since February of last year. And it's the main focus of this team. They want to win the region title. White County's never won an outright region title in basketball, in men's basketball. So to tell you that it is a goal, it is definitely a goal. That's something that they wanted to do. They want to go to the state tournament. They want to get past the Sweet 16. So 3 kids who are really driven with this senior class, because this senior class, probably comparing to last year's senior class and then next year's senior class, I hate to say the forgotten ones, but they're kind of just been lumped in there. You had this one senior class who was great in middle school, saw a lot of good things coming out of them going to high school. This junior class behind them, same deal, really good in middle school, and they've been kind of the forgotten ones. And it is a big deal for them. They want to be that senior class that wins it. So that has been the goal since day one. Really day 0, if you really want to talk about it, because that text got sent to me the night we lost to Sandy Creek last year. So it's something they want, and that's what we're playing for every day.
You mentioned Silas. He was one of your 2 guys that scored. They eclipsed the 1,000-point mark for their career in a big game against North Hall. What was that not like? I mean, I'm not sure if that's ever happened anywhere around us or anywhere in the state of Georgia, for that matter. 2 guys on the same night get 1,000 points.
Well, 25 years, I've never seen it done. Not on the same night. Well, and this is what I told somebody this morning. It's a great accomplishment for Silas. Silas has been a starter since his 10th grade year here at White County. I'm the second coach he's had. He's been all region his sophomore year in Quad A, his junior year in Triple A. He's a very good player. And Silas is a kind of one of the cornerstones of what, since I've walked in the door, what we've had. Now he's matured and grown, obviously, because he's a whole lot different than he was when he was a 10th grader. But special for him. I'm just so happy because, everybody, Jaden's a great player. Everybody knows Jaden. Everybody in our region knows who Silas is, because Silas is the type of kid who, one night. Just for example, Saturday night, Silas needed 20 points to break it. He had 16 in the first half. Scored 10 straight points and just kind of took over the game in the second quarter. And then came out of halftime, Jaden kind of took over. And I forgot what it was. Maybe Jaden had like 9 at halftime or something like that. Silas had 16. Silas needed 4. Jaden needed 13. Jaden actually got it before Silas did because he kind of took over the third quarter. But Silas is a special kid. He don't say a whole lot. He's not a rah-rah guy. But when it's time to play, he can play. And I've been so fortunate to be able to be around him and coach him because, like I said, he was a lot different than he was in the 10th grade. In that maturation process, they all go through it. But he's a White County kid who has poured a lot of time and effort into this program, and I appreciate everything he's done for our program.
Well, speaking of, I mean, that night was big for those two guys, but for your team also. I mean, that's a big win over a good North Hall team who I think is second. Well, I think they went into that game with only one loss in the region also, I think. So
right. We were fortunate. We beat them at their place by 2, I think. And North Hall's a very good team. They cause you a lot of problems matchup wise. They press you. One thing that we did well in both games, we handled their pressure pretty well. And we made them play a half court game. But it was a huge game, and somebody asked me about Jaden and Silas, getting that accomplishment, and I'm proud for them. But I would tell you, right now, not one time did they ever say, "Hey, coach, I'm only 20 points away." I don't even know if they knew how close they were. I told them a couple of weeks ago the number, and they might have kept it up in their head, but there was no game plan to get them both 1,000. It just happened. But it's what I told them. I said, there are 2 leading scorers. I mean, obviously, every game we go into, obviously those 2 guys are going to have the ball a lot. There was no plan to get it. I mean, they just did it. I would tell you right now, if we would have lost that game, they would have been more hurt about the loss than them getting the 1,000 points. That's just the kind of kids they are. Because, North Hall and White County is a big rivalry. And another thing that made it good was, it was at home, and we had a packed out crowd. I was a little worried because we moved the game from Friday to Saturday because of the weather. It turned out the weather wasn't a factor, but they showed up Saturday night, and it was special because it was crazy, man. And it happened as soon as Jaden got his, and we did our little picture. He walked over to Silas. He said, "All right, it's time to get yours." And actually, to be honest with you, we kind of forced about 4 straight turnovers trying to get him the ball. And then finally, they called the timeout, and I brought him over. I said, "Look, Silas is going to get his points. Let's quit forcing it. Let's just run what we run, and he's going to get it." And we did. He got fouled. He went to the free throw line, and he hit both of them. So it was a special night, especially against North Hall. But there was we didn't have any kind of plans. I mean, these are 16, 17-year-old kids, and a lot of times when you plan stuff, it don't happen. So, but yeah, it was crazy night. Never been a part of anything like that before, and I don't know. I've never heard of it. So.
Yeah. Coming up down the stretch, I mean, you've got Cherokee Bluff tomorrow, West Hall, and then you've got a non-region game, and then you finish with East Forsyth and Lumpkin County. That Lumpkin County game, I think it's away, right? You guys have already played them at home.
Yes.
So you will end your season, regular season in Lumpkin County, and then you'll go back for the region tournament, right? Because I think that's where it'll be.
No, the boys is at Cherokee Bluff.
Oh, the boys is at Cherokee Bluff.
Yeah, okay. I think the girls may be at Lumpkin.
Okay, I got you. So, well, I guess tomorrow you'll be playing where you'll be playing the region tournament.
Yeah.
So just coming down the stretch, I mean, you said you you're working on trying to keep opposing teams to under 50 points, and you're not there yet. Is that going to be the focus coming down the stretch and heading into playoff time?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how we came up with 50, but that's a pretty good mark in high school basketball. If you can hold people to under 50 or less, you ought to be in pretty good shape. And it's something we've hit it some games, and some games we hadn't. I'm right now what we're trying to keep them, because these, like I said again, these are 16, 17-year-old kids. I mean, we had people saying it was the region championship Saturday night, and I'm having, we're trying to do our best job as coaches. Is, you know what, this game's important because it's the next one. And I told him in the locker room, I said, this game's important. I said, when this game's over, guess what the next important one is? Tuesday against Cherokee Bluff. Because these last 4 games, they're not going to be easy. I mean, we're going to get people's best shot. I mean, and it was the same way last year. It's just trying to keep even keel, move on to the next game, do what we do, limit them what they're good at, and, hopefully we'll come out with a win. But, the focus is we've got to finish strong. And because I always tell our kids, and we started out the year 1-4. And actually at Christmas, we were 7-7. And that was on purpose. I scheduled a pretty good non-region schedule, went to a pretty tough Christmas tournament. I did that so when we're here, because I told our kids, I said, the difference in football and basketball, in football, everybody remembers November. In basketball, nobody remembers November. Yeah. I don't care our record was 1-4. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is where we're sitting at that first week of February, region tournament time, or that second week of February, region tournament time, where we're at. Where, and in our region, fortunately, if you finish first or second going into the tournament, you get a bye all the way to semifinals. So that's another goal we had. We got to do that last year, and and that was fun because going into the tournament, you've locked up a state tournament berth. Now it's just playing for seeding. So we've got the same mindset we had last year. We want to be one of those top 2 teams going into the region tournament, knowing we've qualified for the state, and then hopefully finish that thing out and win a region title. So that's same. It's, be honest with you, it's the same thing we talked about last year. We just got to, our kids, some of them kids were on that team last year, and they saw how those seniors, that region championship game, they saw the hurt, and they don't want a part of that. So that's kind of been the drive and the focus this year.
Well, it sounds like you've got some real driven guys on your team, and I know you keep saying they're 16 and 7-year-old kids, but it seems like they've really matured, and who wouldn't, going through as many head coaches as they've went through, and COVID and everything to get them to this point. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun to watch down the stretch, and we're going to be pulling for you. Hopefully we can catch back up when the season's over, kind of before playoffs start, and we'll try to get you back on and keep everybody updated with what's going on. But wish you the best of luck, Coach. Thanks for taking time out of your day and sitting down with us.
Hey, man, we appreciate you talking to us, and we appreciate y'all covering what y'all do for Northeast Georgia.
All right. Thanks, Coach. See ya.
Thank you.